You know, I know today's court decision is a severe disappointment to so many people, including me. But we cannot let the decision be a permanent setback for the country. We need to keep an open door of opportunities. We need to remember that diversity is our strength. We have to find a way forward. We need to remember that the promise of America is big enough for everyone to succeed. You know, that's the work of my administration.
Tax on certain corporations. Economists assume companies would then pass along part of their tax increase to employees by reducing their after-tax wages and job opportunities. According to data from the Joint Committee on Taxation, the minimum tax measure is expected to raise $300 billion over a decade. Republicans are pointing to the report as proof that the package would violate the pledge by the president and congressional Democrats not to raise taxes on those earning less than $400,000. The federal taxes would increase by $17 billion on American taxpayers earning less than $200,000, and those making between $200,000 and $500,000 would see the levy jump by $14 billion. By 2031, when the new energy credits and subsidies are set to provide an even greater benefit to higher income Americans, those earning below $400,000 are projected to pay as much as 2/3 of the additional tax revenue collected that year. But Manchin argued Sunday on CNN that the bill is not putting a burden on any taxpayers whatsoever. He added, "We're doing what we can to make sure we address the problems, and there are solutions to the problems we have." Manchin was a key holdout on the Build Back Better plan for more than a year, causing heavy criticism from his Democratic colleagues and advocates. Now, a bill to repeal legislation that will reduce or eliminate Social Security benefits for retired federal employees and their spouses is coming very close to a House floor vote. The Social Security Fairness Act, introduced by a representative, has more than 200 co-sponsors in Congress. That is more than enough to force a House floor vote. The bipartisan legislation would eliminate two provisions of the 1935 Social Security Act that reduce or eliminate the Social Security benefits of more than 2 million retirees. One is the windfall elimination provision, which reduced the Social Security benefits of local, state, and federal retirees who worked in Social Security covered employment. Lawmakers expect a vote on the legislation that may soon come as September. Co-sponsors of the bill have told reporters that no American should be penalized because of their public service, and they've been waiting decades for a solution to this issue, and now we are close towards fixing this problem. And the National Active and Retired Federal Employees Association has advocated for Congress to eliminate WEP and GPL from the Social Security Act for years. The SSA currently estimates its ability to pay full-out benefits will run out in 2035, at which point it will pay only about 80% of benefits owed to people that are supposed to get it.
Thank you, Mr. President. Later tonight, the Senate will vote on my amendment, number 5185 to the PACT Act. And as my colleague from New York was just saying, it is time that we deal with the issues of toxic exposure. And as a member of the VA committee, this is something that I've worked on for the last few years. Tennessee has a large population of veterans, and we have talked a good bit about this issue and how they receive
This collection, it can accelerate the timeline to reduce the benefits. That means less people will be getting stimulus checks. Now, folks, here's the most important stimulus, Social Security news, and stimulus information that you want. Continue watching this video so you don't miss out on this. Current inflation rate, economists are expecting that Social Security checks will only increase a small amount next year. This is a big issue as millions of Americans rely on the program. Democrats are meeting and trying to come up with ways to prevent a drastic decrease in monthly benefits. For most retired Americans, though, Social Security isn't just some check that comes in the mail or is deposited into their checking account once monthly. Rather, it's a vital source of income that helps seniors make ends meet. The program is responsible for pulling nearly 22 million people out of poverty each year, 16 million of which are adults ages 65 and up. And since 2002, at least 80% of surveyed retirees have told the National Pollster that Social Security benefit is a major or minor source of income. And because of the important role Social Security plays in the financial well-being of seniors during retirement, there's arguably no more event more than anticipated in the program's annual COLA during the second week of October every single year. Social Security's COLA is the raise that the program passes along to beneficiaries most years to account for inflation. The rising price of goods and services raises in quotation marks to represent that this is an increase in benefits designed to match the rate of inflation and not to outpace it. which can happen with a more traditional raise from an employer. The program has had a consistent inflationary tether with the CPIW. CPIW was a handful measure that spending categories and list of subcategories last year. These weighings are what allows the cost of living adjustment to be calculated, and Social Security's COLA for the current year is historically high. This 8.7% increase has received the biggest year-over-year percentage increase in benefits in 41 years. The average retiree enjoyed a yearly $150 increase in a monthly Social Security check in 2023, but a roughly 2 to 3% COLA would equate to a more modest $37 to $55 boost per check, and based on a report released last year, the purchasing power for a Social Security dollar has declined by an almost 40% since 2000. What $100 in Social Security income could buy in 2000 now can buy only $60 worth in today's economy. And currently, lawmakers in the U.S. are considering changes to this entitlement program just to make checks ranging from $200 to $350 per person under a budget deal. Tax refunds under the agreement's $17 billion inflation relief package is going to provide $350 to individuals making less than $75,000 per year. And couples making less than $150,000 who file their taxes together will receive $700. Now, if families in those categories have at least one dependent, the deal calls for them to also receive another $350. That means families could receive up to $1,000 together. The agreement would also provide checks, although in smaller amounts, to many people who make more money. The smallest payments are designated for individuals making up to $250,000 who would get $200. Couples filing jointly who make less than $500,000 will receive $400. Under the plan, the state would send people the money through direct deposits and debit cards beginning in October. A spokesperson for the state's Department of Finance has said that the state's franchise tax board estimates all the money will be sent out by early next year. The state budget deal must be passed by the legislature and signed by Newsom to become law, but a statement from leaders and the Senate president said that a sign-on deal would indicate that it will happen. In addition to the tax refunds, the budget agreement will also suspend the 23-cent sales tax on diesel for a year, starting October 1st. Under the agreement, the state would provide local governments the revenue that would have come from the diesel tax to avoid stalling local transportation projects. The agreement includes more money to help Californians pay their rent and utility bills. The announcement of the deal indicates Newsom's proposal to send $400 payments to vehicle owners is dead. Newsom has initially made the proposal to provide targeted relief from high gas prices that his administration said could be sent to Californians more quickly than payments to tax filers. But he said to get lawmakers to sign on to the deal. But he failed to get lawmakers to sign on to the idea.
About the financial stability and monetary policy risks that these assets pose and how are stablecoins different.
We don't have supply chain backups. About the 8,000 jobs that Hyundai is going to be bringing to Georgia, 3,000 jobs